As humans age, we tend to get wrinkles and fine lines on the skin. Some more than others, but we can probably all agree that we would rather have smooth, wrinkle-free skin. And why do we as humans favor non-wrinkly skin? Why do some people get more wrinkly than others? And lastly, what can we do to combat the wrinkles and fine lines? One of the pillars of attractiveness in humans is youthfulness, since youthfulness is a sign of fertility and general health. This study from Jones et al., despite being a quite small sample size, actually found out that men seems to place way more weight in neoteny and youthfulness when rating the appearance of a female potential mate, whereas there was barely no such correlation when women rated men. This, theorized in another study, was because men are fertile for longer in general than women, making us more inclined to value signs of fertility higher in women. And there was not the subject's actual age that was an indicator for attractiveness, but how old they looked as far as their facial features, such as big eyes in relation to face height, smaller nose and full lips. So basically, the majority of men are more attracted to younger looking women, not because they are young, but because they look young. The study also supported the claim that human sexual selection value peaks in early adulthood, basically saying that younger people of all genders, men as well, are generally considered more physically attractive. These claims are also supported by this study, which also showed that men rated the intermediate juvenile face as the most attractive, which also supports that faces looking to be somewhere in early adulthood are seen as the most attractive. This isn't all biological, it's also cultural. We know for a fact that we are biologically programmed to think certain faces are more attractive, supported by this study where they concluded that babies favor and look longer at faces that are seen as more conventionally good looking. But this study on neoteny, where they asked people from different parts of the world to rate different faces, showed a bigger favor of younger looking faces in the Western world, which pretty much proves that there is also a cultural factor in play. Anyway, despite all of those studies and different facial features, skin is probably the number one indicator of a person's age and youthfulness. Healthy skin is also an important determiner of human attraction, since well-taken skin is seen as a health trait, but in fact it's not proven that people with smooth-looking skin are more healthy than others. That's just what we perceive it to be. There are a bunch of different studies showing how smooth skin equals to more attraction, and to be honest, we already know this. So, what causes the skin to wrinkle? The short answer is loss of two proteins called collagen and elastin. Think about it this way. Collagen is the scaffolding for our skin. And when you have a lot of it, it creates a nice tension to the skin's surface. As it disintegrates, you get wrinkles. Meanwhile, degenerating elastin causes skin to lose firmness and tone, which is when you start to see sagging. Picture how a balloon looks and feels when it's full of air, and then visualize its appearance after a week when some of the air has escaped. Levels of collagen and elastin diminishes with age, but there are a bunch of ways to protect it and boost the production of these two precious proteins. So, why do some people get wrinklier than others? Preventing wrinkles basically comes from keeping the levels of elastin and collagen high in the skin. So, how do we do that? Well, first factor, as with most biological things, is genetics. Aging happens to everyone. Our physical development is partly pre-programmed from conception through to old age. Over the years, the DNA molecules that make up our genes deteriorate, preventing more and more cells from replicating, which leads to wrinkled skin. But not everyone experiences this process at the same pace. For example, usually lighter skinned people suffer more damage from sunlight and develop wrinkles more quickly. Our understanding of the complex relationship between genetics and aging is far from complete. But if your older relatives have suffered badly from wrinkles, it's a good idea to take sensible precautions to preventing wrinkles as early as possible. Reason number 2 why some people are wrinklier and experience more fine lines than others is probably the number one collagen and elastin killer: sun exposure. Exposure to sunlight, or UV light from tanning beds, is by far the biggest cause of premature aging. Here, the advice is simple: wear sunscreen every day, even on cloudy days, since the UV rays still reach the skin through the clouds. And preferably try to avoid excessive sun exposure. Try to use a product with an sun protection factor of at least 15, but ideally 30 or even greater if it's 50, especially if you have fair skin. And remember, SPF only measures the level of protection from UVB radiation. To look after your skin properly, make sure you wear a broad spectrum sunscreen that also protects from UVA light. There is no commonly agreed measure of UVA protection, so checking the ingredients list is the only way to ensure your sunscreen is broad spectrum. Okay, so reason number 3 why some people get wrinklier than others are that those people maybe smoke cigs. It should be no surprise by now that smoking is unhealthy, but it's only just becoming clear how badly cigarettes can affect the appearance of the skin. Cigarette smoke contain many hundreds of active ingredients. Some trigger enzymes that damage collagen and elastin within the skin. Other ingredients are harmful free radicals in their own right, and smoking may also reduce levels of vitamin A, an antioxidant that protects against free radical damage. And also, smoking significantly reduces blood flow within the skin, reducing the supply of nutrient and oxygen that the skin needs to repair itself, as well as causing the characteristically dull skin tone of smoker's face. Okay, so now we know that some people are genetically destined to age faster than others, and sun damage as well as cigarettes causes you to age and develop these fine line wrinkles probably way faster. But how can you boost collagen and elastin? Number 1 is exercise. All sweat sessions that increase your heart rate and blood flow result in benefits to collagen productions, says dermatologist David Bank, director of the Center for Dermatology, Cosmetic and Laser Surgery. By getting your cardiovascular rate and blood flow up, these types of exercise deliver more nutrients like vitamins and oxygen to the skin cells all over your face and body, he says. That increase in vitamins and oxygens to your skin cells helps them reproduce and enables the repair mechanisms in your skin to undo damage from years past. Plus, those nutrients feed the fibroblast cells in the skin that produce collagen so they can make more of the wrinkle-fighting nutrient. Weight training is also good since it releases growth hormone, which is sometimes jokingly referred to as the fountain of youth, since it does a lot to maintain the healthy body but also increase collagen, as this study shows. So basically, now you should have another good reason to get both your cardio and your weight training workouts in. Another thing you can do to prevent wrinkles and fine lines is to increase your vitamin C intake. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, meaning it prevents or reduces damage to our cells by neutralizing the production of highly reactive molecules called free radicals. These free radicals cause wrinkles and fine lines, and they come from things like sun exposure or air pollution. Amazingly, vitamin C's skin-saving benefits aren't limited to its antioxidant status. It has plenty of other skin-healing properties that make it worthy of a permanent place in your medicine cabinet. For one, because it's highly acidic, when vitamin C is used topically, the skin is triggered to heal itself by accelerating the production of collagen and elastin, explains New York City-based dermatologist Howard Sobel. The next thing on the list is to moisturize the skin, or basically have a skincare routine. according to an 8-year follow-up study with 177 women, where they tracked their facial wrinkles as well as humidity in the face. They found that the women, which was first aged 28, and then, after 8 years, they were 36 years old. The women with a more humid skin had an increase in wrinkles of 22% over the 8-year period, where the women with the drier skin had an increase of 56% in wrinkles. Although this study was concluded by a skincare company and the results therefore might be rather biased, I still think it's valid simply because it's quite reasonable. That's why I recommend everyone to get on a skincare routine. And I know for most of the girls watching this is mandatory for you, but trust me, a lot of men barely ever do anything to their face. But then, according to another study by the University of Maryland Medical Center, cosmetic moisturizers can help hydrate the skin and prevent tearing or bruising, but have no effect in preventing the onset of wrinkles themselves. So the science on this is a bit contradictory, but it certainly won't hurt. And the next thing on the list is retinoids, and this is where stuff actually get reals when it comes to what you can do in skincare to prevent and even reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. This anti-aging ingredient has been widely studied. Remember the free radicals that I mentioned before, which partially comes from sun damage as well as pollution, which breaks down collagen and elastin? Well, retinoids breaks these down directly in the skin, making collagen production increase a lot. This boost in collagen makes the skin thicker and gets you this young glow. Here are some pics for comparison. And retinoids comes in different types, and the weaker ones, usually called retinol, are available over the counter, and the stronger ones, which are called retinoids, are usually prescription based. If you want to use retinoids, you should do your research, since this is quite strong stuff. Some precautions should be to never use it in the morning, since this makes you more prone to sun damage, and you should start by using it every third day and see how your skin reacts. Okay, so some honorable mentions before ending this video. Aloe vera boosts collagen production while applied topically, at least according to this study. And then there's also laser treatments. One study looked at the effectiveness of combining two laser therapy techniques called NAFL and IPL, performed on the same day to study participants. And these procedures had a positive effect on skin tone and the production of new collagen. The study found that the combination of these therapies provided a significant increase in skin elasticity and skin tone. Another thing you can do is to boost autophagy. Autophagy is not only essential for our overall health and wellness, it is essential for harnessing the skin's ability to produce elastin and other important compounds. This is probably easiest through doing fasts for 16 hours or longer. Essentially, this clears out the toxins and debris from cells and then promotes cells to regenerate and replicate. And since your cells make the elastin, this helps with their production. And the last thing worth mentioning is collagen supplements. Some studies show that taking these supplements for several months can improve skin elasticity, as well as signs of aging. But many of these studies are small and funded by companies that make the product, increasing the opportunity for bias in the results. But it is possible that some of these benefits are attainable. According to a 2019 literature review in the Journal of Drugs in Dermatology, they found some data from double-blind placebo-controlled studies that support that collagen supplements could increase skin elasticity, collagen density, and overall hydration. So, I mean, if you think it's worth the money, maybe you could try, but there are a lot of other ways to boost collagen naturally as well. And thanks for watching, guys. If you learned something or like this, please write in the comments, please like, please subscribe. Goodbye.